Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's good to have you here with us. I don't always have a chance to catch up with the guests that I've had on Crystal One-on-One before, but when we left off, this guest and I were talking about something that she was working on, but she couldn't talk about just yet. Now, we happen to be at the amazing Sheraton Kampala Hotel, my home away from home, at the Seven Seas restaurant. Just to let you know, Wednesday is steak night. It's always fabulous as a date night. And of course, for fine dining options, they've got you covered. I do have Angie, Kemi, Omeke back on the show.
It's like when I came onto your show, I always get these when elevate. So when I came onto your show, it kind of gave me that other push. And once we're done with the recording and I sat down, I looked at the video, and this, the wheels started turning. I know, and they turn and they just everything clicks in. And
because you said you were planning something,
yes,
but you didn't want to talk about it just yet, right? Because we had talked about how even in your business you had pivoted to the bespoke.
Yes.
So it was interesting hearing that about also how you're managing your time.
Yes.
But then, I mean, I guess also talking about managing brides as well.
Yes.
And now it's almost like you are willing to tackle the conversation of love and relationships, almost like a singer, but a cool singer of sorts, right?
Yes, yes.
Like,
Modern day singer, a modern day singer, and I think the singers are very key in the fabric of our society. Of late, they've been given, a name. It's just about the sex and etc. But I think they hold quite a lot, and they have a lot to give back to us. So I didn't start off that way, but it looks like, yes, that's exactly where we are heading, the modern day singer.
I find that it makes sense, believe it or not, because, I mean, you are part of so many couples coming together, right?
Oh, yes.
You're part of that story, the beginning.
Oh, yes.
I know dating is truly the beginning, but let's be honest. Marriage is something that you have to take very seriously.
Yes.
If you're planning to do it for life,
yes.
There's so many people who don't even have a clue how to go about it, how to be kind to each other, how to give grace to your partner.
Yeah.
And then you also talked about being present in your feminine.
Oh, yes.
And it's interesting how more and more women now are talking about the challenge of having to bring masculine energy.
Yes.
Whether it's in their career or their workspace, and it's hard to switch that off when you're back home, when you're with your partner.
Yes.
Yet we have to complement each other.
We definitely do, because I think it's a Luganda saying, but my Luganda won't be that good. But if it's short, no? The fire. When you're lighting a fire, you have the big logs. You need the big logs.
Yes, yes.
But to light the big logs, you need kindle. You know that those little, and without them, the big log doesn't light.
Yes.
So, femininity is the kindle. So once we burn, once we're in the right space, we are able to light the big log, so that masculinity is also able to do its part. And I really felt that now is the time.
Yeah.
Now is the time to tap into that space.
These are difficult conversations to get into because personally, I feel there's so much confusion.
Yes.
There's so much confusion for both men and women.
Yes.
Young men, young women.
Yeah.
Confusion in terms of how to relate to each other, confusion in terms of what your role is in a relationship, because you can't be everything.
Yes.
The both of you can't be everything.
Yes.
It simply doesn't work.
Yes.
If you look at any structure, you have different positions that people fill, right?
Correct.
You can't have one person doing everything.
You can't have two CEOs.
Exactly.
They has to be somebody, and it doesn't mean one is less than the other. Like I said, you'll have these big logs and you have your light, but you can't light the fire because you don't have kindle. So the kindle is as important as the big log.
Now we know you put out that big video. that was even part of why I was like in the interview. I'm like, first tell me about this video where you're like being the
Yes.
strong, independent woman. It's a bit
That,
of a lie.
yeah,
I mean,
that was
it's
my
good to
why.
be strong. It's good
Yes.
to be independent.
Yes.
But is it going to give you everything that the world says it will give you? Especially if you actually want a relationship. I feel the
Exactly.
confusion in the world today is
Yes.
being told, men are being told they don't really need women. Women are
Yes.
being told
Told
they don't
really
need men.
need.
You can live without.
Yes.
But what about when you want?
Exactly.
Isn't
That
it being a human, to be a simple human being, to actually want
want.
someone to live life with?
Exactly. And what's happening now is people are speaking about independence, that, oh, I'm independent and I'm not, isolated, I'm not alone. But you see, independence and in being an individual, knowing who you are is very important as you.
Yes, yes.
When we get into the relationship, we're two independent people who come together. And that's where interdependency comes in, where we coexist, we assist each other, we finish each other's sentences. You can't finish your own sentence, if you're speaking to yourself. So when two independent people come together, independence thrives.
Yes.
What happens is, what happened in my case, two independent people came together. And whilst in that relationship, I decided that, you know what, I'm going to be an independent woman. It does not work. Relationships cannot work with independence in the center of them. Interdependence is crucial, is crucial. I've seen that quite a lot, especially with as you said, I've been in this space for a while.
Yes.
So the number of brides I've seen couples that I've seen walk into my office, it's like I've been on a almost 20-year-old case study and research
Exactly, right?
of different personalities and how they all react in a certain way when put into a certain space. And I realized there's a formula. There's a formula, and that formula lies within communication.
Yeah.
Communication is everything.
It's so funny that communication is so important in every aspect of our lives.
Super important. When I first sent out my flyers, everybody was like, oh my gosh, she's now telling us how to talk to men. Yes, I am. But I'm also highlighting the fact that the way we speak to them is our greatest strength.
Yes, yes.
Women have brought kingdoms down by simply using their femininity. For so many years, I kept, pushing. I can do this on my own. I got into my industry with, I can't call it, but yes, the anger, the frustration of being treated like I wasn't enough. Okay. What I didn't know is he saw me. My problem is that I was unable to express myself. And a lot of times, women, we don't say what we want. We really don't say what we want.
Actually, that happens a lot. Women get so angry that their partner just does not read their mind.
But he's not a mind.
Let's be honest.
Yeah, he's not a mind
If you
reader.
haven't told him, if you haven't specifically said, this is what I need. I mean, the moment you have said specifically and communicated your needs in the right way.
Yes.
Because communications also has to be done right.
If communication is not done right, then you may as well be speaking Chinese.
Yeah. Now, if things don't work after that, then that's another conversation.
Exactly.
I guess it's, in a way, it's like how some people talk at, others, rather than talk to.
Exactly.
Yes.
I'd always tell my husband,
and speak
come
with.
home. Come home. You should be coming home. What I failed to understand is that once I understood that come home is not going to get him home, it's about creating an environment where he wants to come home. This might be a bit controversial, but Be Real, Be Raw is for wives, people in relationships, to remember who they were in the beginning. A man fell in love with his girlfriend. When you become his wife, you forget to be his girlfriend. Does that
I
make
mean, but
sense?
you know, women are always saying there's just so much. You know, you become a mother, you become a wife, your roles change, the
Yeah, but
expectations
when
of you
he
change. But
when
then you forget the two of you. At the end of the day, you're in your bubble together.
exactly after the world goes away, it's just the two of you, and for you to be able to work, it's important that you learn to communicate. And there's no single way of communicating in a relationship. People have different ways of expressing themselves, but we need to start looking within, understand what I need, what do I want, what do I need, how am I expressing that? Then it makes it easier for somebody else to listen. I tell people often the change came when I decided to keep quiet and just listen,
Yeah, there's a lot of power in silence.
like I did when I was a girlfriend. Just listen. Then the confidence that comes from being able to communicate, I, I felt more empowered. When we first met, I was more authentic. Over the years, I started wearing all these masks and things to show that I've got this, I can do this. And yet, what men fall in love with is that authentic person that you are. Whether your hair is falling all over the place, you might be the type of person who's constantly stumbling and walking into things. But there is somebody who would appreciate you as you are. But what's happening now is women, just from, for example, Snapchat.
Yeah,
I hate, okay, I don't hate Snapchat, but it makes you so pretty. And I'm thinking,
the filters.
exactly. So if a person finds me, aren't they a bit disappointed? So when we start the journey, when you are already not true to yourself, then you get into the relationship, then you don't know whether to be loud or quiet or laugh a lot or giggle, then you somehow move according to your move shifts with whatever is happening. So 10, 20 years down the road, you've literally lost yourself. And that's why I thought that this particular retreat would speak to the girl who dreams of falling in love, the girl who's waiting for that ring, the girl in love who wants to cement her relationship, but the people around her telling her, hey, don't overdo it, things like that. It's also perfect for the girl who feels she's getting lost.
You know, be real, be raw. It's hard because you're asking people to be vulnerable.
Yes.
And I think that's one of the hardest things for people in relationships now. Like you said, whether it's TikTok or Snapchat or all these voices, people talking at you,
Yes.
it's almost like young women are being told to be hard.
Yes.
Be hard so no one can hurt you.
Yes.
Be hard so you don't have to rely on anyone.
Yeah.
Be hard so no one can let you down.
That is so true.
Right?
That is so true. Usually that's how we end up in these
But
positions.
how can someone help you if you don't show them you need help or you don't ask for help? Isn't that a hard one, right? I mean, like,
to ask for help. But I think that's why spaces like these are created, where one person's willingness, or I feel that Be Real is a movement. It's a movement of women who want to redeem themselves from this whole toxicity of being independent. And to be able to do that, we need to be vulnerable. We need to be vulnerable. We need to remove our clothes, our bras, our lipstick, and just be us. So the people looking at us are seeing us, not a product of all these fancy things that you've put around you. I know vulnerability, of course, comes with, the slack will come in. People will be like, oh my gosh, you mean that happened to her? Yes, it is. And I'm strong enough to say that it did. And I'm strong enough to say that when it happened, it's what brought us closer. I woke up.
When you put out that initial video, it was so scary because you were sharing your own example of where you had failed.
Yes.
And then how you decided, of course, to
And I
turn
think
things
every
around.
woman should have the chance or the opportunity to tell their story their way. And I believe that's exactly what happened for me. And then I realized there were so many people who have been going through situations like this, but they don't know who to speak to. And I'm thinking, it's time that we made it easier for others. People always say, oh, you have to go through it yourself. Yes, go through it yourself, but when you know that if Angie made it through, so can I. So if we have these tools or frameworks that are able to guide people in that direction, I think it would be very selfish not to share. Yeah.
Okay. Someone might ask, why now?
Maybe that will take me back to why, when all this started. I remember many years ago, I woke up in the middle of the night. I think my alarm went off, and I got up to take my medication about 3 a.m. You know, the antibiotics. So I got up, I walked to the bathroom, and as I get up, I turn. Usually I don't switch on the lights, but I put the lights on that day, and I got up and turned and looked in the toilet. And I was expecting, you know, that yellow antibiotic, you know, liquid. And what I saw was red and brown. Literally, my kidneys were shutting down. So, meaning the signs were all there, but it took my getting to that point for me to wake up and realize this can't be right. My body is broken. My relationship is broken. We're not talking anymore. All arguments about trying to win. And in the moment you feel that you've won, but you really haven't. And I stood my bathroom. I don't know if I've ever told you, my bathroom is the most beautiful place in my house because so many things over the years, people will notice a lot of things happen in my bathroom.
In our bathrooms.
I celebrate there. So there I was standing stark naked. And I said, is this what I really want for myself? Do I want to get to 50, 60, 70? And this is me, where you can't sit and have a conversation with the man that you love. And the blaming, you know, always assigning me, you did not, he did this, he did that, he did the other. What were you doing during this period? But because I was so young, I got so many people to, no, she's young, but then young grows. Then
to be on your side blaming as well. Like, yes,
you know,
yes, he's the problem.
He was the problem. But when you sit and ask yourself, how can he be the problem if two people are dancing? It takes two for us, you know, to get the groove on. And that's when I sat and I realized I'd been chasing so many things. You know, there was naked, sick, alone, and my bank account was about to throw up. You know, on social media, people are like, oh my God, pink coconut, pink coconut. Yes, fantastic. But when you go home and get into your bed and you ask yourself, is this it? There has to be, you know, something more. And then I got onto social media. I'm not very good with it, but now I've learned. And I realized that there are so many young people going through situations like this. And nobody's telling them because everybody's too afraid to tell their story.
Yes. Everyone's too busy putting on a front, showing the world that everything's wonderful and they're perfect. Their life is perfect.
Life is wonderful. My life is wonderful. My life is perfect. I'm in a great season, but it's also shitty too.
It has its moments.
Yes. Yes, yes. And it's important for us to tell people real stories. You know, that it wasn't all fine and dandy because on Bump Love, a lot of times people say, oh my God, OJ is such a darling. You guys are so perfect. But that's because we've done the time.
We've done the work.
We've done the work where you realize that one day we were seated on the balcony having we love the single malt whiskey. And I was like, babes, this is us. But the journey to get there, if we can find a way of shortening it for other people, I think that would be lovely. I think that would be lovely.
So that happened to you and you were reminded about what's really important.
Your health will slap you into remembering what is really important.
And
yes.
Like you said, the world today puts so much emphasis on career, emphasis on appearances, how you show up, show out.
Yes.
but a very big indicator of your health is your relationship as well.
Yes.
Because a stressful relationship
Oh, yeah.
will tear you apart.
Yes, and it shows.
And it shows.
And it
with
shows.
time.
And as you said, a lot of us are looking at the outer.
But you have to do the work.
You have to do the work inside. That confidence, that self-love, you know, except when it comes to speaking. I'm the type of person who would walk into a space, what, completely raw and take a seat. Not because I have the best body, because I know who I am. And I think if people walk into relationships having those values, I know who I am, I will accept something only to this extent. If I'm not comfortable with something, I won't pretend that I'm comfortable. And then 5 years later, you know, like, I never really liked going to your parents' place.
I
But
never
you
really
never
liked this.
expressed
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I tell girls that if we did, should I say girlfriend, or our biggest thing as women in relationships is the other woman.
Okay.
Yes. It will come up at some point in time. And the other woman always looks perfect.
Oh, okay.
Yes, because she's getting more time in the you think that the person is getting more time in the relationship. But if we shifted our mind and said, I am the woman, and I'll also take over the position of the other woman.
This is juicy.
Yeah. For example, I realized that we became happier the more of a girlfriend I was to my husband than the standard wife.
Okay.
Arguing less, letting the small things go, you know, always being ready to welcome him, not using sex as a tool for, you know, just going with the flow the way I did in the beginning. So be real, be raw. We're saying, people, let's go back to the beginning. Let's find out, who are we? That's the person this person fell in love with. How about you come back after this retreat and you become who you were before, who you really are. Forget all these additions that come along the way.
So this is the first retreat
Yes.
that you're organizing of this kind. And it's a getaway.
Yes.
You know, some people might say, okay, how come you didn't decide to just do like a morning session in town?
I am yet to find a person who is taken to an island and they don't feel absolutely rested or at peace.
Yes.
With Sese Islands, if we're away Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and it's just women, I don't know if women understand the power of women coming together. When you're all vulnerable and you get raw and you realize you're not the only one
Going
through this, and then you listen. In the olden days, because we're going to do a fireplace, in the olden days, the younger girls came and listened to the older women speak.
Yeah.
We don't have that anymore. We are listening to people who are 3,000 miles away from us and trying to transplant that here.
In completely different cultures and situations.
Yet I'm here, Crystal. I'll come tell you something and you will totally get it, because when I say, do you know where this club is? Then I parked my car. Then I wait. There's a difference when you're speaking, especially if you're being authentic, when you're speaking to somebody who understands your pain. So I thought that in the islands, one, we would be rested, we would be relaxed, we would be in a space of women where we could be able to drop our inhibitions, breathe, and start to heal.
Okay. Ooh.
I think if it were possible, brides who are getting married should come for the Be Real, Be Real. For sure. Because I know what it is like. Those 3-4 months of planning, they take a toll on relationships. So people are walking into their marriage or relationship when they've already gotten a lot of stuff that has already, you know, backed up. So yeah, I thought that this would be something that we need right now.
We need.
Yes.
I feel like it's also a gift. A gift, because it's funny. The world today keeps saying that some of the basic things that we want as women, almost like not important. You know, like simple things like wanting a family,
Yeah.
wanting a husband.
Yeah.
For some women, their goal is to be a stay-at-home mom and take care of their family.
I was for 10 years.
But what does the world say today? Oh, like that's a terrible thing.
Yes.
I mean, there are two sides. One, some people say, you're really brave
To
I
do that.
can't do that.
Yeah.
Then the other side are like, what if something goes wrong? Then what happens
Yes,
to
that's
you?
understandable. But when people say that, I ask myself, there are people we grew up with and they came from stable homes, well-to-do, and a parent dies and everything comes crashing down. It's not the end of the world. So even you can be a stay-home wife, and if maybe something happens, you can still pick up. As I said, I was a housewife for 10 years, and here we are.
I know.
So,
and someone looking at you now probably can't even
believe
comprehend
that. Oh yes.
That you actually took that decision.
Oh yes. Oh, and it was a very good decision because you see, we're built for this. You know, we are built to raise children and look after a home and be all nice and sexy and feminine. So if we could start getting that done, then maybe also the men would really work on what they need to get done in their field as well.
Yeah, on their side too.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell me about the retreat. You know I have to ask because you couldn't tell me before. I think you were still putting it together. So space where women can come together.
Yes.
For a whole weekend.
For a whole
when
weekend.
When is this happening?
This is November 8th, 9th, and 10th.
Okay, 8th, 9th, and 10th of November.
Yes.
This is the first one.
This is the first one.
So the promise is that it'll be happening again and again.
Not promise. That's why I told you that somehow things just align. So we've already been signed up in Dar es Salaam in April next year.
April next year?
Yes.
Okay.
There's Bureau in Dar es Salaam. So already that is happening. So sometimes when you start the ball running, it runs faster than you.
It leaves you.
Yes.
Wait for me.
Yes.
That's good. That's great.
In Kalangala, we're going to have some bubbly. There'll be champagne. We'll have guided meditation. And now I'm talking about the physical. We'll have the guided meditation. We'll do yoga. We'll have a coach on Saturday morning, you know, to give us our dance lessons. We're going to get into mastering of communication. We're going to try to build better bonds within our relationships. We are definitely going to move from whining to winning.
Okay, I like that.
We are definitely going to be the main chick and the side chick all in one. No, our relationships, our marriages, we're going to pray about it, but we're also going to be proactive.
Now, some people might think that it's only about relationships, but I know that you actually have some business coaching and mentoring. I mean, different speakers.
Yes.
So who are some of the guest speakers you have?
Yes. So one is Mariam Babali. She's a lawyer and a wellness coach. So she'll be taking us through that. Then we are having Brian as well. He's a professional sex expert who is going to help us with exploring our bodies, body confidence.
Yeah.
Body confidence. Yeah, so those two will be coming through, plus myself. We have Miriam Matembe as the guest speaker.
You say be real, be raw. Well, we have Miriam.
Yeah. yes. So yeah, I think we have a great panel.
Okay.
We have a great panel. I'm pretty excited about that.
You must be excited about this.
Yes.
When you started this transition, I mean, because we talked about you leaving Bump Love, and that meant a new chapter, a new season in your life. Did you see this? Was it clear to you then the direction you're heading in now, or has it just kind of started coming together?
I'm the evolving kind. It just, this leads to the other, leads to the other. So whenever I see people getting so worked up about not knowing where they're headed, start. And before you know it, everything else somehow starts falling into place. So long as you're doing the main work, the groundwork, the behind the scenes work. What people see is that turnip or the carrot that has grown out. But when the work has been done at the bottom, so I'm pretty sure that it will pan out. But no, I did not know that this is where I'd be this year, for sure.
Now, you kind of tapped into the why. But
Yes.
I want to go back there a little bit. Why do you think that this is so important, that women need this?
If the things that you see on social media aren't enough to make you think again, people walk into relationships while walking out of them. You know, communication is like, I can do that. Like, who do you think you are? I'm all that. And right now, we are literally at the apex of that kind of mentality. And if we don't find ways to curb or harness this strength we feel we have, we literally are going to burn out. And when we burn out, the part that will burn out first is our femininity. And I wish I could, I don't know if I can emphasize it enough, that the strongest strength, weapon, tool that a woman has is her femininity. And once we are able to harness that and understand how it works, women can own the world. I keep saying this. From in our kitchens as we bake, or raise our children, or run our big businesses, we can actually own the world if we know what we have.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, looking forward to it. Excited about it. And
Absolutely.
excited that finally we are having this conversation. Because I was like, oh, what is this about? What are you trying to do? Who are you speaking to?
Yes.
So I guess it's open to all ladies who want to
Yes.
step into this. What did you say? The girlfriend, the wife, the side chick,
Mod.
the feminine.
We are going to own all those women. We are going to own all these women. I'm really, really excited, and I'm excited to see where this will go. This is our first time. Um, you know, when I was getting into this, someone told me, don't you think that you're biting off more than you can chew?
Huh.
And I said, that's what everybody said when I
But
started.
that's what everyone says when you're taking on something big.
Something.
Yeah.
I remember a lot of my friends and family said, you didn't go to school for you to be a mukazi webimun. Today. So even with Be Real, Be
That's
Raw,
so funny
yeah,
though.
someone's like, oh my gosh, she's becoming a singer. Yes, I am. And I'm going to be a really, really good singer.
But also, I know that one thing I've seen a lot is when you're doing something that's important,
Yes.
there's always going to be pushback.
Yes.
When something is important, there'll be so many forces pushing you back.
Yes.
So good on you for making this happen. For also trying to get people into this beautiful, peaceful, joyous phase of life that you're in.
Yes.
Like you said, it's not always, every day is not roses.
No.
But to be able to forgive yourself, to accept love, to nurture it, and to have peace. Oh, peace in life is so important.
Peace. The event is on the 8th to the 10th of November. We'll be leaving the waterfront at midday on the Brevard speedboat. We'll arrive on the other side. I'll be waiting for you on the other side to welcome you. There'll be a team that will come with them. The fee is 2 million shillings. Early bird is 1.6. That's inclusive of your transport, your accommodation, all your meals, all the retreat amenities, and our amazing workshops.
Okay.
So, yeah.
All right. So now you know, and now I can let her go.